Hello, everybody. This is Herman Dolce, Haitian CEO. Welcome to another episode of the Execute Podcast. And we have a special, amazing guest today, LaVonne Idlette. LaVonne, how are you doing today?
I'm great.
I
How
was
are you?
practicing the last name in my head so I wouldn't mess this up. Thank you so much. We are live in Miami, and I'm really excited about this episode. We have a lot of conversations we want to talk about. In this episode, we're going to be talking about trust, life insurance, nonprofits, wealth building. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's talk to the people. All right, can I call you LaLa for this interview? Because I don't know who LaVonne is. That's just a professional name. I just want everybody, So LaLa, tell the people a little bit about yourself. It's like, you got this young lady on your show. Who is she? Why is she here?
So most people would know me as LalaHurdles too, which is my Instagram name, and that name comes from actually dial-up AOL. But
Wow.
I was a professional track and field athlete. I went to the Olympics for the 100-meter hurdles, and at the same time, I was in law school. So I'm a little bit of a glutton for punishment, but also what I would consider to be a nerd who just happens to be faster than other people. I'm a securities attorney by training, and I focus most of my time on helping high achievers create the enterprise systems that will lead to fully integrated wealth.
Okay, so are you intimidated yet? All right, I'm definitely intimidated. Wonderful outfit. I have to talk about this outfit for 2 seconds. So remember the first time we met, you had the all white too? So is this a brand thing?
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe it should be, but I have a little baby, so wearing white is really aggressive for a person with a 1-year-old.
Right. and challenging and rare. That's crazy that you're doing that. So I want to talk about, you used to be an athlete, right? An Olympic athlete. That's a different ball game too, because you are practicing for every 4 years, not a game every Sunday. So I think the passion and dedication is just a little bit different. Shout out to all my athletes out there. And now you're a securities attorney, and you were doing it at the same time.
Yes.
Where'd that discipline come from?
Well, I want to clear something up. First of all.
Talk to me.
Track and field has real seasons, and it's a real sport, and we compete all the time, okay? Every 3 days, all around the world. I've actually pretty much been to every country because of track and field. The only place that's not popular is America.
Really?
Yes. And so I was making a good living running around the world, seeing the world,
Literally.
and with sponsors and doing the little ads. Before social media influence was a thing, I was going out and getting like brand deals. But while doing that, I first went to business school, then to law school, and the discipline to do sports is literally anything you can apply to the world. Literally, I just would go to class, then I would go to practice, then I would go to class, then I would go get a massage and repeat every day. And I pretty much look at it like life. You have a vision for a thing, the thing requires certain things, and you just do them. You do what's required. You don't really think about it from a this is hard perspective until somebody else tells you. I'm literally just living my life. My life requires these things. And that's how I did it the entire 10 years. I was basically a student athlete the whole time until when I graduated from law school, passed the bar in 2015, I was only competing for 2 more years, but running businesses at the same time.
Running businesses at the same. So talk to me about securities attorney. I have a good friend of mine, Charlene. Shout out to Charlene. She's a partner at an amazing law firm in Philly. And us novices, oh, you're an attorney, you're a lawyer. And I asked her like a regular question. Let's just say unemployment law. I asked her a question. And she's like, I can't help you. I was like, you're a lawyer. She's like, Herman, if you have a headache, you're not going to go to a brain doctor.
Right.
So she's like, there's different tiers of attorneys, just like there's different tiers of doctors. So what made you go into securities?
So I started off in the bankruptcy court when I was in law school, which was really interesting because it was 2011. We were fresh off of, a downturn. So I'm watching people cram down their mortgages, get out of a lot of debt because of things that happened during that time frame. So I used it as, by the way, my father thinks that he's the brain and that I'm Pinky. So some of this is not like self-pushed. He's sort of like, go get an MBA. You need to go to law school. You need to go do these things. You need a mortgage license. You need these things. So a part of that is him. He is a real estate developer, and he's sort of like, my daughter is the key. Here are the things you got to do so we can take over the world. And so I'm in the bankruptcy court because we want to buy things at a discount. And so that's how it starts. And then I had a mentor tell me, because, I skipped a little piece. I went to the Olympics in 2012. I was in law school at the time. And so after that, I had a bunch of athlete friends who also happened to be Olympians and NBA players and all that saying, can you come to meetings with me? And I'm like, to do what? And they're like, people are pitching me things that they want me to invest in. Little do I know is a passive investor is buying a security. That's number one. So that sparks the thought. And then I had a mentor take me to a conference because he's like, I like what you're doing with the athletes. I was helping them get into like commercial real estate, but from the perspective of how I grew up. You make money, you buy things by yourself, and you own it all, and you take on all the risk. And then I had a mentor. He took me to this conference, and a lady, she walked up to me, and when you happen to be a woman and happen to be Black at a conference about securities, you may be one of 3 out of 1,200 people.
Wow.
So me and my mentor, who also happens to be Black, we're walking through this place looking like rock stars because people are like, how the hell you found us?
Right.
And so the lady walks up to me and she's like, okay, you're one of 5 women in here, tell me about yourself. And I told her what I was doing, and she said, okay, that's cool. Call me when you do something a little bit bigger. I can't help you with anything less than 80 million. And I was like,
that's what you did to me when we first met, right?
Calm.
You did the same thing. I was like, yeah, I helped people get a little funding. And I think he was like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, yeah, I got like a $1 million, $2 million project. He's like, oh, sweetheart, hit me up when it's like 510, I can help you out. So this is ironic that this happened to you too. So she's like, hit me up after you hit 80 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the smallest deal we can look at. And so I was like, that was too calm. Maybe she thinks she's brilliant. I'm not gonna say she isn't brilliant, but I'm gonna say that like my ability to learn, it feels uncapped.
Time out. We're going to get back to the show. But listen, we have to talk about Bella Sloan Academy, the dopest mentorship on the internet. Listen, in this mentorship, we're going to teach you game. We want to put you in position for the win. And we have created a dope community of like-minded people and entrepreneurs just like you. We have 5 live Zoom calls per month. Not just your regular videos that you can watch later. No, we want to touch you and we want to talk to you. In these 5 Zoom calls, you have your accountability call, you have your credit repair call, you have your business funding call. Listen, I don't know everything, so I get masterminds to come and teach you guys about credit, real estate, and other businesses that include trust, life insurance to put you in position for the win. This is only $50 per month. That's right. This investment is super, super low. Put yourself in position. Back to the show.
So I'm like, all right, I'm going to figure out what she's talking about. And that's when I went really deep into like what the people in the room were doing. So a lot of terminology are the same words, but they don't mean the same things. And so like, that's an important point because I was in this room listening to them say things like sponsor. So to me, I was a professional athlete. What a sponsor means to me is a person who gives you money.
Right.
But in the finance world, a sponsor is the person who raises money.
Okay.
And so
same word,
different worlds, exactly. And then I heard somebody say wholesaler. I know lots of wholesalers. They're people who are buying and selling contracts. A wholesaler in the finance world helps people connect to the capital to raise the $100 million.
$100 million, the middleman.
Yeah.
And they charge a little percentage.
That's right.
Got you. I love this game. Let's get a little bit deeper for our guests, right?
Okay.
Because when we first met and we went on live, my DMs went absolutely crazy. The YouTube video went absolutely crazy. Because we are talking about the new buzzword right now, especially in our community, trust, life insurance policies, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Now, I know for 90% of my followers right now, irrevocable and revocable trust, that's all they know about. But when we spoke, you was like, Herman, there's like 70 types, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about the most important ones that you use right now, the business dealing that you do?
Yeah, so for me, there are 3 important trusts that I feel like a business person should have. Okay. Especially if you are in the I pay taxes type.
Right, that's kind of shady because we pay taxes as well. But I remember you would say, I have a tagline that said taxes are ghetto. But for those that do pay taxes, I know one of the things you told me is like, Herman, taxes. So it's a trust setup that helps you legally avoid having to do that.
Well, so I don't use the word avoid about anything.
Okay.
I don't owe it. So
I don't owe it. Oh, okay. Talk to me. Let me shut up.
But So a business trust is just an entity type that is going to own the equity in the businesses. The reason I like it is because of privacy and asset protection. Keeping things separate from your estate is important as it pertains to taxation, but also you are going to be an owner, but your trust is also going to be an owner, because the worst taxed people are the people who receive income.
Right.
And so I don't really want that much income. I don't really need that much income. So that's one important piece. Then you have a family trust, because you care about your family and you don't want them to argue about the things that you have accumulated in life. And you don't want a judge to be the person who decides who gets the things. So you don't want to go to probate court. So you have a family trust, because all of your long-term assets need to be there to take care of your family for as long as possible. So we have a dynasty trust, which lasts for 1,000 years. And
one more time. A dynasty trust.
Yes.
So this is one of the trusts you was telling me about that lasts for 1,000 years.
It lasts for.
So how long does a family and business trust last?
So as long as you want it to last. So most trusts are going to only last if you don't have a cutoff date, which could be like your youngest child reaches 25 and then you disperse it all.
Disperse income.
It will only last up to 21 years past the living person age when you created the trust. So let's say I have a baby that's 1, their life plus 21 years would be the maximum based on the rule against perpetuities. We're not going to go that deep into it, but the dynasty trust is the only type of trust that allows past that point, and it's basically the kind of trust that I think a lot of families need, because almost no one needs large lump sums of money.
I'm sorry, what? You speak for yourself, miss. You speak for yourself, LaLa.
You are now old enough and responsible enough to receive a large lump sum of money. Imagine yourself at 21 or 25 receiving $1 million or $5 million. You probably would self-destruct in chasing women and things of that nature.
I just told you to mind your business earlier. I just said that. Right?
And so the purpose of it is really to protect your family's assets from youth and bad ideas, accidents, and just the kind of things that happen in life when you don't have enough experience to know that you don't need things. So like, it's just nobody needs the second boat. Like, it's just that you just don't. So
nobody needs a second boat. The first one, maybe. Right. Okay. Now this dynasty trust, is it over the business and family trust?
So it's aligned. This is
aligned.
horizontal.
Okay.
So once your business trust is going to make its distributions to your family trust.
Okay.
So it's an engine that's pumping money to continuously grow what you already have in your family trust.
Okay.
On top of the fact that the family trust also has the insurance policies on every person in your family.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'm about to lean in, but we're gonna get to this insurance policy and talk about how it works. We talked about something real quick in regards to it's a wonderful story about your grandfather. What's his name?
His name is Joe Idlette.
Joe Idlette. Shout out to Joe. 90 years old, right? He's going to live to be 100. Let's speak that into existence. And he's a land hoarder, you said, right? He has a bunch of land.
Yes.
And you and your family are doing this amazing project where this land that he has had in the family, right, for literally a generation or two, you guys are about to build a 110 unit property on top of it, which is super dope. So let's take that story we was just talking about and tell me, how does this fit into your dynasty, family, and business trust?
Okay, cool. So the business trust owns the businesses that do the services. So development, construction, mortgage, real estate, things, right?
Right.
Consulting, we own those companies in a business trust. The family trust will take the proceeds of that, but the land that we've had in our family forever, so this particular piece of land is actually land that he was bequeathed from his parents.
Right.
So he grew up in a house on this land.
On his land.
That is a little bit more than an acre, and we changed the zoning. So a part of my pinky in the braining was you need to learn about land use.
Right.
And so I go to the land use meeting so that we can get variances and change the zoning and upzone things, because the real play in real estate is if you change the zoning, you don't actually have to build a thing, but you increase the value. So
your DM's gonna go crazy. Go ahead. Email her, don't email me. Go ahead, because that was crazy. Go ahead.
And so that land inside of the family trust, what will really happen is the building is going to be there. It will be leased on a master lease from a company that is under the business trust. And
leased to who?
So it'll be leased entirely to a business.
Okay.
That business will be owned by our business trust. But the money that comes in from that lease will be distributed to all of the heirs of this family trust so that they can live their life. So for me, my only goal in furthering the mission of my grandfather being a landholder and things of that nature is just that all of the heirs of their union, him and my grandmother, who's been married for 70 years, shout out to them, will never need to work. So you should always work, because like, what else are you gonna do? Sit around?
Yeah.
But they'll never be in the position that they feel like they should be a scientist, but they have to go work at Walmart.
Right.
To pay bills.
And
so that's my only goal for my entire family was, we need to get the things into the trust that can pay and make sure that
basic dividends to.
That's right.
So how does
they're discretionary. So discretionary is a piece of a type of a trust, and the reason that you have it is because people make bad decisions in their life.
Right.
So let's say that
somebody's a drug addict.
Somebody becomes a drug addict. The trustee can make a discretionary decision to not make a distribution to them. Let's say one of my cousins or nieces or nephews gets a divorce, and then they get a judgment for alimony. We won't make distributions while the alimony is in place, because we don't want to use our family's asset in that way. So we can loan them money, and it's not income, so it's not subject to alimony.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
How does the dynasty trust fit into all this?
So that's horizontal. So business trust makes distributions to family trust. The family trust donates to the family foundation trust.
The 501c3?
Yes.
Say that one more time. Pay attention. Go ahead.
So the family foundations trust.
It's a family foundation trust.
Yes.
So it's the 501c3 that is in a foundation trust.
Yes.
Got you. This is dark. Go ahead.
And its purpose is to further your abundant giving desires. So for us, it's about affordable housing, and we build affordable housing, and we house displaced people and that kind of thing with the assets that are there. And we help further the mission of people who don't necessarily have a sustainability plan for their grassroots level.
Right.
Like, you know, a million people who like, I got a nonprofit and they love to do things. They show up and they're doing the work, but like, y'all don't got no money. Like, so we are the engine. The foundations are the engine that gives them the money to continue and further their causes. So we don't actually operate. We just invest that capital so it can be sustainable and give it out annually. Yes.
Is this type of situation you just talked about what the Rockefellers have? They have a dynasty trust and business trust family. Is that what they have?
So they have a dynasty trust and they have a foundation.
Okay. Got you. I got you. And that money just trickles down. Now we can go into where it gets kind of interesting. How does life insurance play a part in this? Because that's another confusing topic for our people. Whole life versus term. How much should I put on myself? How much?
Okay.
Give us a little game on that.
We're going to start from the top.
Okay.
Insurance is a business.
It's a business, 100%.
Okay. And anytime you have a business,
right,
the business is about making money. So they create products that make money.
Right.
Term insurance does not pay out 97% of the time.
One more time. We need this clip for Instagram. What?
Term insurance does not pay out 97% of the time, which means it's a great business product. You pay, you get nothing.
If I got term insurance when I was 20, just in case something happened to me over the next 10 years.
Yeah, because you live in Philly and that's what happens to people.
That's what happens, right? So, but hey, if I made it to 30, the insurance company is up.
Yeah, exactly.
They got all the premiums.
Exactly. It's over for that. So the people who are, I guess I would say, on the conservative loud side of use term insurance because it's cheaper and then like invest the difference, they are using ideas that require a lot of discipline. I don't think that anybody actually does that. They're just
Invest
like, I
the
saved the
difference.
money and then
Yeah.
I went to the club.
Right,
Like,
right.
So plus it's just not a good idea. Anyways,
Okay.
but term insurance is really inexpensive, so it's fine if you want to buy some as a supplement to things. So like I bought a really large term policy when I was pregnant because of the statistics around Black motherhood and pregnancy death. So if something was to happen to me, I needed to make sure that my baby would be straight and everybody around my baby needs to be straight so they could take care of her in the best way possible. And it didn't cost that much money at all. Just so it serves a purpose.
How long was it?
So it's a 10-year policy.
10-year policy. Okay.
But it was really built for that 1 year.
That 1 year.
And I ended up having preeclampsia, having to be in the hospital for a long time. So it was like things that made you be like, okay, I mean, just in case.
Right.
But, you know, thankfully I survived.
You're here.
You know, and I'm
beautiful baby girl.
And but so whole life insurance has okay. So whole life insurance has the ability to grow the cash value. The cash value is going to grow at a rate. If you're with a mutual company, that means that you are a mutual owner of the company, so you're going to get a dividend annually, somewhere between 4 and 6% for most companies. So we have those because 4 or 5%, that's cool, of growth on this cash that's based on the premiums you pay in. The amount that it is less than the premiums you pay in is the fees. So this can get wild because, again, this is a business. So the people who sell you and set up the policies can write the policy however they want. A lot of them is going to lay them fees in.
Fee you to death.
That's right. They're going to lay them fees in there. They're going to add things that you don't need. But the things that they're adding, they're called riders. Some riders are more important than others. For me, the most important things were, because if you're an entrepreneur, you probably don't have long-term care. You probably don't have short-term disability.
Yeah.
So those sorts of riders are really good for you because it will take away from your death benefit and
Right.
allow you to live and get some little breathing room and all that kind of stuff. So the part that most people hear about is you can borrow against it.
You can borrow against it, right. Invest it, pay it back.
Yeah. As
Maybe.
long as you have a place to put it.
Right.
Most people don't have access to things, which is my main advocacy in the world is the wealth gap is gapping because of lack of access to investment opportunities, not access to earning. I know plenty of people who can earn money.
Right.
Now, where you put it is going to be the difference between whether you end up with $1.003 million or $10 million.
Gotcha.
But the way that works is you can borrow against the cash value up to 70% of what the cash value is. It's a single piece of paper, like a form. So it's not an application. You put the form in, they're going to wire you the money. Easy. The biggest thing about it that makes it beneficial is if it's written properly, you don't have to pay interest on it if you pay it back within 1 year.
Hello.
So where you're putting the money matters. But the interest rate is not terrible. It's like 1% above what they're paying you.
Okay.
And so if you find another place that you could put it, that you're making an oversized return and you arbitraging the money, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
Don't take the money out and do nonsense.
Right.
That's because if you're using it as a bank, quote unquote, you want to look at it like if you owned a grocery store. You could technically go into the grocery store and make groceries and not pay for them, but your accounting will be off. You should look at the way that you run your bank in that way.
Gotcha.
So pay it back because it can replenish, you can reuse it, someone else can reuse it. And it doesn't deplete the death benefit, which is the part that like supercharges most people's family trust, because when someone passes away, that large death benefit then goes as assets inside that can be invested and create more income for the family.
More income for the family. So I have a $2, $3, $4, $5 million policy. I pass away. I make the trust my beneficiary.
Yep.
So that money goes directly to the trust, 4 to 6%, right? annually is a dividend coming in.
Yep.
So if I want to say this property, say for we don't buy no assets, my children can live off of that 4 to 6%.
Yep.
And then we can continue to rinse and repeat this for generations to come.
Yep.
Who is in charge of ensuring that all family members have insurance? The trustee?
Yeah.
Now, can we use the dividends from the family bank to pay everybody's policy, or is everybody responsible to pay for their own policy?
The trust pays for the policy.
The trust pays for everyone's policy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And so it's super important to get the insurance as cheap as possible. So you can get insurance on anybody more than 30 days old. So my baby's policy was written, she was 30 days old. It's the cheapest it'll ever be.
Right. Oh, ever.
And that's forever, though.
Forever.
That's the premium.
So the moment they're born, get this policy because it's the cheapest they're going to be. They can live 30 years. Who cares?
Yeah.
100 years.
100
Can I get insurance on Damaris?
You have to have
I need her
an
permission?
equitable interest. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But so I had a tweet go crazy over that.
Okay.
So I have an aunt, and she plays life insurance bingo, is what I call it.
Okay.
So she has life insurance on all of my cousins who are in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So if they either do drugs, sell drugs, just in the streets for any reason, she got life insurance
Sure.
policy on them. Not huge ones, little
But a
ones.
couple dollars, right?
Yeah, but that she didn't turn that into millions of dollars because they all die for one reason or another.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not saying that you should do this, but like,
But you can.
you can.
So I can get insurance on her.
Yeah.
So she's in
And so a
I'm
company-
I'm teasing. She's
but
an
no.
important part of the business. If something happens
But
to her.
she's an important part of the
Yeah.
business. She's a key man in your business. Most people get key man
man
insurance,
yeah.
but they should get whole life policies, and it can be a part of your compensation.
Wow. Okay. This interview is going really well. The producer's like, Herman, wrap it up. Not yet. We're almost there. There's a couple of things that people there's like, Herman, make sure you ask her this. So we talked about life insurance. We talked about trust. I know when we was on a call getting ready for this, you talked about how to use all of these products for asset building, right? Buying businesses, etc. It sounds so sexy on Instagram. Like, why are you making it sound so easy? This is cat. Like, I'm the business funding plug. I can get you 40, 50, 250,000, right? I can make this happen. Business credit card, 0% interest. But you tell me, Herman, like, no, put it here, then you put it here, you flip it here, and then boom, you got $10 million. That's what y'all doing on the gram, making it look all crazy. Talk to me about these asset building that you're doing right now as a securities attorney.
Yes. So I tell most people who know how to do a thing that they should probably have a fund. So I call a fund a wealth accelerator.
Okay.
Because it allows, and this is again back to what I was saying, a lot of people don't have access to investment opportunities. That's you creating your own asset that allows someone else to invest in it because you have a skill set or an ability to grow money doing something. And we're just going to take other people's money to expand it.
Right.
So as opposed to going to a bank to get the 100,000, you get the 100,000 from Damaris.
Right.
And now you're like, all right, boom, we're going to split the profits like this. I'm going to take a little fee to manage it, and you're going to get a return on the money because I already know how to do the thing, and we're just growing the thing together. It's basically what everybody is doing, but like at scale. So
even in this economy, this model still works?
of course,
And
this economy is not an economy. It's like a thing. It's not.
So your clients are mostly doing this in real estate?
No.
What
So
do they
like,
do?
I'd say 70% are from real estate only because like I'm mostly in real estate.
Gotcha.
But the other 30% have started funds to roll up e-com stores, to roll up YouTube channels, to roll up Instagram pages that are meme pages.
What do you mean roll up?
So buy them.
Buy them.
So like I had one client, he raised a little more than $1 million and he used it to buy YouTube channels. So YouTube channels that were already monetized, that already had a strategy, that already had a team, and he implemented things that he was doing on other channels to grow those channels. And then he sold them. So flipping channels, flipping the digital real estate. Yeah, exactly. And so he's made outsized returns to what most people would have gotten just letting the money sit in a bank account. So yes.
So isn't there a known like and trust factor in you doing this type of capital raise?
Of course.
Okay.
And that's only because the truth is that like what you just said is true. everybody on the internet makes everything sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Most people cannot execute the things that they say they do.
Most.
Most. And so everybody comes to you every day with a deal of a lifetime.
Right.
Just give me 100,000. I know how to flip it. I know how to do whatever. Something that they're conjecturing about because they've never done it. So for me, I am a jockey better. I have a fund, but my fund is a fund of funds. I don't do anything. I just purvey talent and say, you can do things. I believe in you. I'm going to give you the money.
Right.
So, and because I have access, people who don't have access will give me capital so I can.
Right.
Yeah. That's the play. But most people are being swindled because they listen to what sounds good. It's very easy to regurgitate information.
Yeah.
So like, oh, I'm gonna go out and buy multifamily because this cap rate and this is what I'm gonna do and I'm gonna value add.
Right.
Never done any of it.
Right.
So you're letting someone try something with your money, which is really risky.
Right.
As opposed to like, but knowing the difference is like actually being in the business to know like,
Yeah.
this don't sound right. Like if somebody tried to tell you something about a credit repair business that was off, you'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, red flag, I'm out of here.
They got no receipts.
And so, but investors generally don't know the difference because they're not in those businesses. Like if you are a doctor and you just have $1 million sitting around, if a person comes to you with a real estate opportunity, you know you want to invest in real estate, you're like, oh, that sounds great. I give them money. So the detriment to the community at the moment or the world is the gift and the curse. The gift was that now there are lots of exempt ways to raise capital, lots of capital, unlimited amounts of capital.
Right.
And you can advertise. So you can put a billboard up, you can run ads, you can attract lots of people. But the best people at this are good at marketing and bad at fulfillment.
Yeah.
Bad at executing. And so it's the know, like, trust is harder because lots of people have been scammed at this point.
Yeah.
Lots of people are like, so I make it a point to go and talk to lots of people who have communities and influence and all that kind of stuff and say like, you need to either create an investment club or a fund because your people deserve to be in the thing that you do. You don't need to teach them how to do it a little bit. Like, just let them participate and you grow it together.
We're gonna do this?
Sure.
All right, bet.
And you know what everybody says to me? They said, well, this one guy had a fund and it went bad, I said, modalities are not scams. People do scammy things.
The process works.
The process works.
Right.
And there are lots of people that can prove this in billions of dollars. And you know, your favorite people, Robert F. Smith and all that, they run funds.
They run funds.
Yeah.
Last question for us to wrap up for today. I want to make sure I ask this question right. FinCEN, these LLCs that it's 2024, everybody's scared about. I want to tap into, if you get it done in 2-3 minutes for me, anonymity. Because everybody's concerned, like, hey, I got my Wyoming, my Delaware, my Nevada LLC. Am I not private anymore? What has really changed?
Nothing.
Nothing has changed?
No.
So why is everybody scared? They're misinformed?
Yes.
Okay.
So reading is a skill.
Okay.
And what people hear, and then they pass along. So FinCEN is not public records. So they are collecting the data so that just in case you are a person who does a scamming thing or wrongs a person, that there is some way for those people to recoup the money.
Right.
So if you already had a privacy strategy in place for public records, you are still private.
Got you.
But if your business hurts a person, that FinCEN filing will allow them to disclose who the beneficial owners are and actually go
after them.
After you. But just don't
do F stuff.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and don't launder money, because like that's the real reason why they care so much. FinCEN was really only built around money laundering, which is why you've been filling out FinCEN forms for a long time. You just don't know it because the form that when you put more than $10,000 into a bank account goes to FinCEN.
Got you.
Bank Secrecy Act.
Okay. LaLa, we can talk for another hour. We might have to redo this. We might have to do another one. We can come back to Miami. If the people want to tap in with you, please tell them your Instagram. If they want to hire you to help them build their funds, help them up with their FinCEN. Can you tell them how to reach out to you?
Yes, so you can find me at LalaHurdles 2 on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn at LaVonne Idlette. But if you are looking to learn more about how to properly structure your business or to raise capital or any of those things, you should sign up. I have a program, it's called 90-Day Finance, and we're gonna run you through basically an MBA JD in about 90 days.
Nice.
For your business. So it's more like school than it will be like a program. So you will have, it's implementation education. You have to come with your things and you have to be an action taker. This is why I only let 16 people in per 90 days. I don't like people who don't do things. I will kick you out. Like, I was a really mean teacher because I used to be an adjunct. So yeah.
Say it again?
Implementation education.
Education. I absolutely love it. LaLa, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Have an amazing, amazing week. Listen, guys, tap into the Execute podcast. Haitian CEO. I'll talk to you soon.